Her John said we stand a soldier in the battle. We're tried and true. Indiana, 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 we're all for you.
Live from Assembly Hall this Tuesday, December 1st. Welcome to Indiana University basketball. Tonight, the Hurricane Hoosiers, 1-0 on the season, meet arch rival from South Bend, Indiana, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Hello, everybody. I'm Chuck Marlowe, along with John Laskowski. The two of us are looking forward to a most exciting game. John, a little bit about these teams. First, South Bend's Fighting Irish.
Notre Dame's really led by Paxson. He's their lead guard. If the folks remember from last year, he really did a good job on Isaiah Thomas. He had 18 points. He's going to lead this Notre Dame team. As Paxson goes, so goes Notre Dame. He has a unique ability about him that he makes himself look good, but he makes the other four Notre Dame players look good. So he's extra hard to defend against. Defensively, they can do about anything. They play a lot of different defenses. It's going to be anybody's guess what they might play. But I think the real essence of the ball game is going to rely on Indiana. They didn't play very good on Saturday, but it was the first game. They've got a lot of things to learn. I think Coach is going to shuffle the lineup a little bit. He's got to get everybody a little playing time. He's got to find the right combination that can handle this Notre Dame team.
These are not the two same teams that we saw last year. Orlando Woolridge is gone. Kelly Tripucka is gone for Indiana. Of course, Turner will not be playing this year. Tolbert is gone, and so is Isaiah.
Well, as you remember, we had quite a battle in South Bend last year. Both teams have lost players. Notre Dame, I think, lost 6 seniors. They have 1 senior on this year's team. Is Mike Mitchell, who plays a lot, and Indiana doesn't have any. So you're going from a game last year of a lot of seniors to a game this year where we have very few. So,
okay, Digger.
So, like I say, anything can happen because last year had experienced teams, this year inexperienced. It's going to be a good game.
Well, I hope Coach Phelps coming by like that didn't frustrate us a little bit too much.
Tell you one thing I'd like to say about Digger Phelps is Coach and I went up about 2 weeks ago to South Bend to do a dinner, and Digger was there to help us raise money for Landon Turner, and then they went out to the campus at Notre Dame, and the students helped raise money. So I tell you, the college basketball needs more coaches like Digger Phelps.
Well, there's a lot of rivalry between the two schools, but a lot of family relationship between the two as well. We'll be back to take a look at the starting lineups of tonight's game in just a moment.
Dear General, I have this morning finished reading Ben-Hur, and I must thank you for the pleasure it has given me. The theme was difficult, but you handled it with great delicacy and power.
Several of the scenes, such as the wise men in the desert, the sea fight, and the chariot race, will, I'm sure, take a permanent and high place in literature.
With this beautiful and reverent book, you have lightened the burden of my daily life and renewed our acquaintance, which began as Shiloh.
Very truly yours, James A. Garfield, President of the United States.
General Lew Wallace, another Indiana legend, brought to you with pride by Farm Bureau Insurance.
Back at Assembly Hall before the tip-off tonight's game, Indiana owns a 28-16 edge in this interstate rivalry. It began back in 1908. Digger Phelps is 3-5 against Bobby Knight. Obviously, Bobby with the advantage between the two. But I'll tell you something, John. Of all the relationships of coaches in an interstate rivalry, I don't think two have been nearly as close, maybe in any state, as Digger and Bob.
Both coaches do respect each other quite a bit. As I said at the pregame show, it was awful good gesture of Digger Phelps to help Landon Turner at Indiana University out like he did, and I'm sure Coach Knight would do the same thing if the need arose and Digger asked him to do anything. It's a good relationship, very good.
When we have talked before about this Notre Dame team, and again, most of you remember Kelly Tripucka. He had 16 points against Indiana last year. Orlando Woolridge had 14. Paxson had 18. Paxson, of course, returns. And John, maybe a little bit more before the game starts so that we can be looking for it. When you say that the offense will control around Paxson, if it does control around the guard, is he the one that makes the things happen, makes the plays happen?
I think Paxson will bring the ball to the floor most of the time. Now, Notre Dame's famous for a 1-4 offense, much like we saw Miami, Ohio play. And this Paxson will bring the ball up the floor. What they like to do is get back picks coming. There you see a good shot of Digger and Coach Knight. And I think you can get an idea of the way they're talking, that they have a real good relationship. So Paxson's going to bring the ball down the floor, look for that shot. If he can't find it, they'll try to set the other players up on a back cut, set picks inside. But I think you're going to see him control the ball probably 75% of the time.
Now for Indiana, going with a juggled lineup, there again you saw the coaches. This juggling, we'll have to really wait and see. We were given a tentative lineup that really, and confirmed the rumors, included 4 freshmen and Jimmy Thomas. But we're going to have to wait and see. Indiana's still looking for a court leader.
I think exactly the same thing. We really tired this team after last year's a little bit in respect that last year's team took a long time to adjust. Remember, they were 7-5 in December, and then finally turned everything around. The thing that this team lacks right now is a leader. They need somebody to take control of the situation out there. Got close to the Miami game, got close at the end. You needed somebody to say, I'm taking control of this game, and the destiny is ours. Miami's not going to beat us. And we really didn't have anybody to do that. And I think the thing Coach is going to try to emphasize in the early part of the season is we got to get a leader out there, get somebody to take control, as Isaiah Thomas did last year.
All right, we have a slight delay, and the delay is not due to us as television. There is a presentation that's going to be involved here just a little bit before we do get underway. And maybe we can run down some of what has happened to each of these teams. Most of you who have followed Indiana and were with us last Saturday as Indiana played Miami of Ohio. The Hoosiers won the game 63, let's check that, I'm sorry, 71-64, a 7-point spread that really did not accurately, I think, describe how close that game was at times. On the other hand, Notre Dame got off to a rousing start. They defeated St. Joseph's 82-52, a 30-point spread. And they must have a lot of scoring power. It, to many, might have seemed like an easy start, but I'll tell you, Notre Dame does not have an easy schedule this year. Now let's go down to the public address announcer and Chuck Crabb.
Presentation before the starting lineups. All basketball fans in the state owe a big thank you to the students of the University of Notre Dame, the Irish basketball team and staff, and Coach Digger Phelps. During recent activities at Notre Dame and in South Bend, over $9,000 was raised for the Landon Turner Trust Fund. Here to present the check to the Turner Trust Fund is Mike Ortman and Skip Desjardins from the Notre Dame student body. Accepting the check is former governor of the state, the Honorable Otis R. Bowen.
Another example of what we were talking about, John. Fine relationship, although highly competitive, nonetheless, very aware of the needs of the family of athletes. Now let's go back down to Chuck Crabb for the starting lineups.
At forward for Indiana, a 6'4" freshman from Anderson, Indiana, number 21, Winston Morgan. At forward for Notre Dame, a 6'4" sophomore from Washington, D.C., number 33, Tom Sluby. And at forward for Indiana, a 6'9" freshman from Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 42, John Flowers. The center for Notre Dame, a 6'8" sophomore from Washington, D.C., number 43, Cecil Rucker. At center for Indiana, a 7'2" freshman from Effingham, Illinois, and Munich, West Germany, number 33, Uwe Bluff. At one guard for Notre Dame, a 6'2" senior from San Bruno, California, number 15, Mike Mitchell. At guard for Indiana, a 6'5" freshman from Gary, Indiana, number 11, Dan Dockage. The other starting guard for Notre Dame, a 6'2" junior from Kettering, Ohio, number 23, John Paxson. And the other starting guard for Indiana, a 6'3" junior from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, number 20, Jim Thomas.
Well, there are the starting lineups. The big surprise, of course, Indiana going with 4 freshmen and a sophomore. And for Notre Dame, as you see the lineups there, it's Sluby, Varner, Rucker, Paxson, and Mitchell. Varner had not been expected to start tonight. I tell you, Notre Dame's been hit by injury too, John.
They do. Tim Andre, their big center, has been hurt a little bit, although I think we'll see action out of him. Varner has a dislocated toe. He must have some kind of wrap or bandage on it that's allowed him to play, so he'll be a big factor in today's game.
You mentioned something else, that he may be well enough to run. He can probably make the moves and the cuts. He has to be very careful that he doesn't take that accidental step on top of the foot. Here are the officials for tonight's game. Richard Weiler, Darwin Brown, and Eric Harmon, left to right. They'll be calling all the action for you tonight on the court. And we look at Blopp and Rucker as we are prepared to get underway, starting this game just 2 or 3 minutes later than usual because of the special presentation before the contest. And now, Blopp, Rucker, high in the air. The tip is controlled by Indiana. Jimmy Thomas will set the offense.
Notre Dame starting in a 1-2-2 zone from the beginning.
Thomas and Dan Dockage. Morgan in the corner. Morgan will fire. No good. Here's Flowers after the rebound. We have a foul underneath. It's on 33, Blopp. His first personal.
Indiana had good rebounding position that time. It's a good shot by Winston. Comes off the rim. Uwe called for leaning back into Rucker.
Personal foul number 1 against Blopp. Team control, bringing that ball up. We saw a lot of him last year. John Paxson, Kettering, Ohio. This is Mitchell. Paxson again, and we can begin to see what you say, John, as Paxson comes back on top of the ball. There's a lot of motion both sides of the basket. Here's Sluby, 33, guarded by Morgan. Kicked out of bounds off the knee of Paxson. Turnover number 1 for Notre Dame.
That's the kind of pressure you've got to put on Paxson. You saw him get the ball in the corner there. He was trying to make something happen. Probably going to the baseline. Thomas had good pressure on to force a turnover.
We're a minute into the first half of play. Notre Dame and Indiana. Ball kicked. On the far side, it'll be Indiana's ball. The more than ample, I would say, seats here at Assembly Hall, very, very close to capacity, are occupied for this game. A great rivalry, and the fans know it. Nearly 700 Farm Bureau Insurance agents, your host for tonight's game, and we hope that you'll be with us throughout the entire 1981-82 season. Pass off the hands of Blopp. Turnover for Indiana, their first.
Seems that both teams know this is a big game early in the season. A few early turnovers.
Mitchell, this is Rucker. Blopp about 5 feet off. Mitchell, Paxson right in the middle. Jim Thomas, the only veteran, the only man with experience on the court, has picked up Paxson. That's going to be his obligation all evening, at least as long as he's in there. Whistle. And we have a foul. It's on Paxson on the drive, his first.
Okay, here's Notre Dame set up with Paxson at the free throw line. He's looking for that back cut. Good help by Indiana that time. Flowers was in position to take the charge.
John Paxson with his first. We have no score. 18-22 left to play first half. Both teams very, very deliberate going to the basket. Indiana a couple of more opportunities. 1 turnover, however. Here's a bounce underneath the ball. Good feed by Jimmy Thomas. Thomas the assist and Flowers the basket. Indiana leads 2-0. Paxson, top of the key. He'll fire. Off the rim. No good. Rebound to Blopp. And I think he's going to pick up his second personal. Blopp is called for personal foul number 2.
Rucker with inside position. That's the shot Paxson likes. Notice Rucker inside. Uwe with the left arm pushing on.
Team foul number 2. And Notre Dame will trigger in under its own basket. 33 is Sluby. Saw about 14 minutes of action against Indiana last year. Scored 6 in that game. Here's Sluby firing after the inbound. Tipped away by Dockett. Right back to Rucker. No foul. Good. Cecil Rucker. His first basket. We're tied at 2. Dockett played his high school ball at Gary Andrean. Winston Morgan. Indiana again attacking this 2-3 zone. Using the patience that will be necessary to make this play work. Here's a feed in the middle, and the shot by Klopp. It's good.
Good pass that time. Again, we talked in the first game, when Uwe gets open, the pass is going to have to be high. That time Uwe had both arms outstretched. He got hit with the pass, kept the ball high, and made the shot.
Indiana leads 4-2. Early moments, first half. Indiana, Notre Dame. Farm Bureau Insurance, your host. Rucker, Mitchell.
Notre Dame has their offense set very high, much like you'd see at the end of a game, to get those layup shots.
Rucker, as he attempts to take the head fake and body against Flop, moves his feet. A traveling violation. Turnover number 2 against Notre Dame, and Indiana will have the ball.
One reason Notre Dame may be using this type of offense so early is simply to clear out Indiana's help side defense. If there's no one under the basket and the Notre Dame player can get around baseline side, there's no one to help. He could have an easy layup.
Dockett. Thomas on top. Now Dockett begins to bark out some commands of his own. Feet underneath the block. We have a foul. 43, Cecil Rucker with his first personal. There you see the youngster from Munich, Germany. Played high school ball at Effingham, Illinois, and decided after his 2 years that he wanted to come to Indiana. Into Flowers, then Dockett.
Man-to-man defense right now by Notre Dame. I think the most interesting matchup is going to be Uwe, Blob, and Rucker. Uwe at 7'2". Rucker is 6'8", 190 pounds. A big disadvantage there.
Flowers almost lost it. Here's the punch inside. Morgan drop with a turnaround. I'll tell you, Johnny is very good. I've watched practice. Very good with both hands. And for a young man that's only played 3 or 4 years of ball, that's quite unusual.
He's going to be open right now in this type of defense Notre Dame's playing. Indiana must get Uwe the ball.
Paxson and Thomas shuts him down on baseline. The ball back out to Rucker. That's again. This is Mitchell, number 15. Underneath it goes. Rucker misses the shot, but he's fouled as he goes up. The ball does drop through. And it'll be the first foul on number 42, John Flowers. We look again.
Mitchell with the ball, drives toward the basket. Uwe comes to help. That leaves Rucker open. John Flowers over to help. A little bit too late.
Rucker's basket is good. He has both Notre Dame baskets and a chance to add the 5th point. Shot is no good. High in the air, off the rim, pulled off by Block to Flowers. So Indiana will bring it up. Dockett across the line to Morgan. 15-19 remaining. First half of play, Indiana leads 6-4 to Flowers. Loose off the knee of Notre Dame's. Mitchell will be Indiana's ball. And we have a timeout with 15-10 left to play first half. You're watching Indiana basketball on the Farm Bureau Insurance Basketball Network. Indiana leads the Irish of Notre Dame 6-4. let's take a look again at Blopp's move, John.
He gets the ball inside, doesn't take a dribble. Very good move, because no one else can reach the ball. Soft left-handed shot.
Back again to live action, 15-10 remaining. Indiana has the lead first half, 6-4, and the ball. Randy Whitman in. Now we have Whitman and Kitchell, number 30. Jimmy Thomas. Knight now starting his 4 freshmen, has gone to some of the veteran players. 4 freshmen and 6 juniors. Kitchell off the chest and recovers. Blocked away out of his hands into the hands of Mitchell. Loose ball. Out of bounds. It'll be Indiana. No, it's Notre Dame's ball. Near capacity crowd on hand for tonight's action from Bloomington's Assembly Hall.
Indiana right now 3 of 4, 75%. Notre Dame 1 of 3.
Okay, foul on Jimmy Thomas. Shot by Paxson is good. Thomas has picked up his first personal foul. We're tied at 6, and Notre Dame has its first opportunity to take the lead. Paxson's first basket.
There's a shot of Coach Knight. He called Jimmy Thomas over. I could read his lips from here. He said, don't leave your feet. That's a mistake you can get into. If Paxson gets you in the air, he'll drive right up into you with that shot. That time he hits it for a 3-point play. Jimmy's got to stay down.
Paxson, last year, excellent free throw percentage. He is 3 for 3 this year. That's his first in this game. And it's a 7-6 Notre Dame lead as they put pressure on Randy Whitman in the backcourt. This is Paxson now. Whitman gets it to Kitchell and to Thomas. Whitman shot no good. Paxson there for the rebound. Left side against Thomas. This is Sluby. Whitman's right on him. Mitchell will fire. No good. Rebound to Whitman. Raises up court quickly. Tip in by John Flowers.
Flowers very alert that time. A good move by Randy. Went all the way to the basket because no one stopped him. Looked like an easy shot, but Flowers went to the board anyway for the tip.
Indiana regains the lead, 8-7 with 13:40 left to play. Here's Mitchell. Bounced underneath. Shut off nicely by Whitman. He moved into the passing lane, but kicked the ball. It'll be Notre Dame out under its own basket.
Notre Dame likes to run out of bounds play where they pick down for the man out of bounds. That's Sluby. Let's see what happens.
Nearly tipped by Thomas. Here's Paxson driving. Goes in the middle. Whistle. We have a foul. I think it's going to be on Thomas again.
Paxson with the ball, driving the middle. Bushy comes over to help. Looks like Steve will be called for the foul.
Bushy does get personal. His first. Team foul number 5. Paxson back at the line. John, as you mentioned at the outset of the game, he will control the offense, so that means penetrating as well as setting it up on top.
Jimmy Thomas really has his hands full today. You can see, as I said, about 75% of the time, Paxson will have the ball. He'll create the action. The other Indiana players are aware of this and will help out when they can. Jimmy's got to keep forcing Paxson to the baseline if he can and get help from his teammates.
Paxson misses the second. We're tied at 8 as Indiana brings it up right side. Now a converging trap on Jimmy. He gets it to Bushy. Bushy to Flowers. Tipped away. The Hoosiers control. Thomas waiting for it to set up. Here's Bushy. Looks underneath. Indiana patiently waiting for its opportunity, trying to run a set series of picks underneath to free the man for the shot. Flowers. Back to Whitman. Digger Phelps up wanting 5 seconds on that. Here's a feed to Bushy. Misses a shot. Tips once. No good. Out of bounds. It'll be Notre Dame's ball. Bushy had 2 excellent opportunities underneath. Missed them both.
Good patience that time. That's the shot you want. Most of the time you're going to hit that shot. Notre Dame's playing a man-to-man defense. and they're switching every time a pick's set, which means that the player that the pick's been set for may not be open each time because of that switch. It's the player who sets the pick has to turn back, look for the ball. He should be the one open. Indiana's going to have to look for that the next time down the floor.
Tim Andre checks in for Notre Dame. This is his first appearance. Did not play against St. Joseph. He's been out since middle of October with torn ligaments in his ankle, and he seems to be ready to play. Just how long remains to see. Whistle stops the action underneath, and we have a foul on Bill Varner, his first. A blocking foul. That is team foul number 3 against Notre Dame. We're tied at 8 at Assembly Hall, the Indiana University campus in Bloomington. The Hoosiers and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. A series of battles renewed just 2 years ago. Last year, really, after a 2-year absence, Notre Dame won that contest 68-64. Kitchell's shot is no good. Bushi goes up, no good. Indiana has missed 4 opportunities underneath in the last 90 seconds. They just cannot connect. Varner knocked away. We have a whistle. The foul is on Bushi, his second. We'll look again.
Baseline drive by Varner. Steve comes over to help out. There you see on the right arm, Bushi hit him with the left.
Varner will be shooting 2. Indiana now with 16 fouls. The next one will put Notre Dame in the 1-1. A very, very low-scoring game, John. Is it patience on both sides?
I think it's both teams. I think Notre Dame feels that they'll be more in the game if they can keep the score down low. Indiana really hasn't got their offense going this year yet. 71 points against Miami, Ohio. Again, they're looking for the right combination offensively.
Varner hits both free throws, and we have a timeout. 11:54 left to play first half. You're watching Indiana basketball on the Farm Bureau Insurance Basketball Network. Indiana trails Notre Dame 8-10.
Dad, we got that. Oh, man, Mumford's taken sick. It's bad.
I'll be right there.
Whatever happened to the guy who was on call whenever you called? The kind of guy who'd come through for you because it mattered to him. Today, he works for Farm Bureau Insurance.
That was quite a storm that blew through here.
It took the roof clear off the garage.
Listen, we really appreciate it.
Hello, I'm Dale Osborne. I've been riding pasture land for some 40 years. See those antelope and deer over there? They're grazing on top of what was an Amex coal mine here in Wyoming. In the West and Midwest, Amex Coal Company goes to special care in reclaiming the land so that it's as good or better than it was before it was mine. Right, Mother Nature?
My friends think it's good enough to eat.
Amex Coal Company. We're resourceful with the land.
Back again, John. We were talking just a moment ago about the frequency of shots. Here's Whitman on a drive.
Watch Flowers with a good inside position. Gets it home. He was really excited about that play. That's the kind of plays that develop confidence in a young man.
Randy Whitman, left side. Indiana with the ball, trailing by 2. 11:45 left to play in the first half as Farm Bureau Insurance brings you tonight's action.
We talked about a low-scoring game. One of the reasons is Indiana's 4 of 12, 33% from the field. Notre Dame's just 2 of 5, 40%. They've only gotten 5 shots so far.
Thomas. Whitman starts to penetrate, then drops to Kitchell. Here's a shot by Ted. It's good. Kitchell's first basket. He has 2, and we're tied at 10. Now Paxson slowly across the line.
Notre Dame spreading the offense again, and there you see Paxson going down to the free throw line.
There's Varner around Flowers. Bushi steps over to slow it down. Sluby. Will fire. Good. On Sluby, his first basket. And 6 against Indiana last year in South Bend. And 17 last Saturday night against St. Joseph's.
Sluby at 6'4" reminds a little bit of Adrian Dantley, who was at Notre Dame, a good player there, a short at 6'4" for a forward, stocky player who's really good.
Bushi out of the corner, no good. Block out by Varner, knocks it away. gathers it in and gives it to Paxson. Very slow, low-scoring contest. 12-10. Notre Dame with the 2-point lead. A chance to extend that by 2 as Andre drives inside, knocked away by Whitman.
Good help that time. You saw Andre going toward his right. Both Kitchell and Whitman there on the baseline to shut it off. That's the whole secret behind the Indiana defense, is if you get around one guy, there's somebody else to help.
Up to Paxson. Jimmy Thomas now calling it out. Rucker bounces it off his foot, actually deflected by Kitchell. No call by the officials. Paxson. Now Slivy. Rucker. Shot right on top by Varner. Bill Varner with his first basket. He has 4 points. It's a 4-point Notre Dame lead, 14-10. 9.5 minutes left to play first half. And it goes to Kitchell. He turns around, soft shot in front, no good. And here's Tim Andre down with his first rebound of 1981-82. Notre Dame now will slow it up. They're very patient.
There you see Notre Dame in a little bit of control that time. They had a two-on-one fast break. Paxson decided to hold the ball up. I'm sure Coach Phelps has told them that they want to slow the game down a little bit, get their offense set up, because they feel they can score better off of that than the fast break.
Rucker. Varner. Andre cutting through the middle. Sets a pick. Shot is no good, but they have position underneath. It's Tim Andre with his first basket. 16-10. Notre Dame with a 6-point lead. Now Bobby Knight up. He barks out something to Ted Kitchell and John Flowers. Let's see what the Hoosiers can do. Kitchell shoots. He is fouled. It's on 53, Andre, his first. And Ted will go to the line for 2.
Each time Notre Dame comes down the floor, they look at Digger Phelps to see what defense they're going to be in. He flashes a certain number of fingers, and each time down the floor, Notre Dame is in a different defense. It's going to take Indiana a while to adjust each defense that they're faced against.
Here's Kitchell with the first, and it's good. He has 3 points. The Hoosiers back within 5 points as Block replaces Bushi. Kind of trying to get some height in there to counter the height of Andre. Andre at 6'10", Bushi at 6'8". Kitchell hits his second for his 4th point, and it's a 16-12 4-point lead for the Irish with 8.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Paxson, Sluvy, nearly stolen by Thomas. Shot by Paxson is right on target. Boy. He has 6. The Irish have 18. Indiana still content and very patient to stay in this control game, looking for the good shot. Now Thomas looking to block. Whitman cut toward the baseline, and the pass thrown behind him by Jim Thomas. Another turnover by the Hoosiers. That's unofficially, but we have the 4th against Indiana, and we have a timeout. With 7:49 left in the first half, you're watching Indiana basketball on the Farm Bureau Insurance Basketball Network. Indiana trails Notre Dame 12-18.
Look out, world.
Here comes Ford Escort.
Hello, world. I think I like what you are. I know you're gonna travel me a long way.
Here come 3 high-mileage world cars from Ford. Escort 2-door hatchback, 4-door wagon, and introducing new Escort 4-door hatchback.
Look out, world.
Ford Escort, outselling every import car line in America.
Here comes new. Here comes now. Here comes Ford.
Holy smokes. Where in blue blaze you going?
Gotta get this to Mr. Farley. We're closing.
Whatever happened to the guy who went out of his way so you didn't have to, and who always delivered what he promised? Today, he works for Farm Bureau Insurance.
1 claim check to Mr. Howard T. Farley for the full amount.
Back live at Assembly Hall. 18-12 is the score. Notre Dame with the ball and the lead. Sloby, number 33. Notre Dame in command, in control of the game right now, with the 6-point lead and dictating the pace of the game at the moment. This is Andre, 6'10". Looks like he might be a little bit overweight due to maybe some of the inactivity following that ankle injury. Shot from the corner is no good. We have a foul underneath against Indiana. We have blocking foul on number 33, Uwe Blop, his third personal.
Here you see the shot again. Uwe doesn't leave his feet that time. Spencer goes right into him for the foul.
Barry Spencer, 6'7", 195-pound sophomore from Detroit Catholic Central, will be at the line shooting 2. And the first is right there. We have a substitution for Indiana as Bushi comes back in, replacing Blop. Blop carrying a heavily bandaged left leg. He pulled a Charlie horse as we look at another injured player. That happened Sunday. That's Rick Rory out of Muncie Central, and he broke his arm going for a loose ball on the court. Second shot by Spencer is also good. Free throw. He has 2 points. It's an 8-point, 20-12 Notre Dame lead. Irish 30-point victors over St. Joseph's last Saturday. Bushi, momentarily looked like it was knocked away, and he gets control again, gets it back to Thomas. To Kitchell, all alone. Good. Ted Kitchell with his 6th point, second field goal.
Opening against the zone, that's a 2-3 zone. Should be on the baseline that time. Thomas with the full-court pass, cross-court pass rather, to Kitchell.
2014 Notre Dame. Nearly 6.5 minutes remaining. And as he attempted to make his move to the basket, Barry Spencer is called for traveling. Turnover number 5 against Notre Dame.
Indiana's got to get back in the game early now. They're down 6 points. They were down 8, hit that last basket. They can't let Notre Dame get control of the game.
Here's Whitman outside. Flowers goes for the rebound. We have a foul. I think it'll be underneath. Let's check to see whether it's Andre or Spencer. They give it to Spencer, number 13. His first. As we look again.
Good shot by Whitman that time. He misses it. Flowers, really, between 2 Notre Dame players, he's got a good instinct where that ball is. It reminds me a little of Tom Abernathy. And Jimmy Thomas seems to know where the ball is. Flowers that time between 2 Notre Dame players comes up with it.
Kitchell, yes, sir. Ted Kitchell with his 8th point. Ted just flashed to the open spot. The inbounds pass hit him. Nobody picked him up, so he takes it. Paxson. This is Varner, guarded by Bushi. This crowd has come to life here at Assembly Hall. Varner looked around at the official thinking he might have fouled. Shot from outside by Paxson. Wow. He has 8.
A really good player like Paxson can hurt you both ways. There you saw him on a jump shot, but he can also drive. So you really got to play him honest because he can go either way.
Here's Bushi. Looks to Kitchell. He tries to move. Shoots. Score! Ted Kitchell. A good feed by Bushi. He laid him toward the baseline. He had just enough room to turn and take that behind the basket shot.
We talked about a guy taking control of the game. We didn't see that in Miami, but the last 3 times down the floor, Ted Kitchell has.
Spencer. Here's Andre. Oh, he dribbles too. Takes the shot, no good. We have a foul. Kitchell has been called for his first personal. As Andre, one whom you really would not believe would put the ball down and drive, but he does. Let's look.
Andre driving with his right hand. There you see Kitchell coming over to help. He's got good position that time. Andre just took his forward motion into him.
So Andre will be shooting 2. We have a substitution for Notre Dame. There's Digger Phelps down. Says something to the official score as Rucker checks in. Spencer will sit down. And Andre moves to the line for 2 shots. The foul, Ted Kitchell's first. Indiana over the 7 limit. Notre Dame still with only 5 team fouls. We have 5 minutes, 20 seconds left to play. First half. Andre's first is good. Tim Andre from Farmington, Michigan, 6'10", 230. Not playing Saturday's game. These are the first stats that we have on him. He's run for 2, fights for the ball, goes down hard. Notre Dame controls. Good pressure by Randy Whitman. Sluby almost didn't get it off the baseline. Here's Saxon. Or Paxson. Andre. Rucker in the corner. John Flowers right in front of him.
Good defense by Jimmy Thomas that time. Paxson's looking for that cut to the basket. He wants to get open. Jimmy Thomas is not letting so far.
Foul. That's pretty obvious by our camera angle that time that it would be Barner on the charge. We'll look again.
All right, there you see Randy Whitman coming over already. Again, the secret to IU's defense, help from the weak side. Randy in very good position. Before Barner can get the shot off, he's called for the charge.
Team foul number 6 against Notre Dame as Mitchell is back in the lineup for the Irish. Indiana going with a lineup now of Whitman and Thomas, Bushey, Kitchell, and Flowers. And they have Flowers at the high post in this early setup as Indiana brings the ball up. Working against a 2-3 momentarily, and Digger Phelps, John, likes to do this, switch out of his zone into a man-and-man at inopportune moments. Bushey. Here's Kitchell, makes the fake, feeds it off to Bushey, and he gets the shot. There's the little head fake, the shot. Bushey's first 2. We have a 3-point game now. Notre Dame 23, Indiana 20. Farm Bureau Insurance and the nearly 700 Farm Bureau Insurance agents, your hosts for tonight's contest. Sluby over Kitchell, no good. Rebound to Bushey. It's a big board. Here comes Indiana. Thomas wants to set it up, had Kitchell all alone under the basket, didn't see.
Good play by Thomas. Kitchell was open, but by the time Jimmy saw him, he was not.
Thomas to the board over Andre. Jim Thomas with his first basket. Kitchell has 10, Bushey 2, Block has 4, Thomas 2, Flowers has 4. Indiana scoring. And it's a 23-22 game. Notre Dame holding that 1-point margin as Paxson fires. No good to Kitchell. And a foul. It'll be on 53, Andre, his second. Andre a bit too aggressive going for the board, and he got body contact underneath. We look again.
Bushey's got the position. Now here's the block out there. You see the bottom of your picture. Bushey blocking out. 53, Andre with the left hand push into the back.
Jim Thomas was over. Let's check that again. Randy Whitman was over saying something to John Flowers over the top of one of the officials. And at the line is Ted Kitchell. His last appearance at the stripe, 2 for 2. Ted, 80% on the season. An 85% shooter last year. His first is good. We are tied at 23. Second, bounces off the front and drops through. Tied at 24, and we have a timeout with 3:28 left to play. You're watching Indiana basketball on the Farm Bureau Insurance Basketball Network. Indiana leads Notre Dame 24-23.
Good passing inside. Thomas to Kitchell. He sees Boucher in the corner. In for the layup. Boucher goes up strong that time to knock it in.
One of the last baskets made by Indiana, Boucher's first basket. This is the type of participation team play that Coach Knight is trying to extract from the players in the early going of this season. But we have a 24-23 game. Both teams appear to be well prepared for tonight's game. Here's Sluby from outside, no good. Rebound, let's check to see. Indiana had 3 white shirts underneath after the ball. It's going to be Notre Dame's ball.
That's what a coach would rather see, 3 players fighting for it instead of Notre Dame getting it easy. I mentioned before, the score was 20-12. Notre Dame in the lead. It's now 24-23. So Indiana's outscored Notre Dame 12-3 in the last couple of minutes.
Paxson and Jimmy Thomas on him. He just hawks him all the way around. Here's Mitchell, now Sluby. And Kitchell right on Sluby. Again, they're leaving that baseline open. Randy Whitman on him. 2 minutes, 44 seconds left. Andre tips it away, saved by Notre Dame.
There you get a good shot of the Indiana defense with a full half-court shot there. Watch the help from the weak side. In this case, Jimmy Thomas under the basket, helping from the weak side.
Now Sluby tries to drive. There's Thomas again, shutting Sluby down.
Exactly what you want.
Rucker, John Flowers, getting good experience tonight against a very capable ball player, Rucker. Cecil Rucker, 6'8" sophomore.
Now the ball on the right side. Kitchell's job is to come over to the basket to help a drive to the baseline.
Lost off the hand of Mitchell. Here's Whitman. He drives and now changes his mind, drops it back to Thomas. Number 4. Irish underneath that basket to close down Whitman. Whitman sets a screen. They look inside, trying to find Kitchell. Kitchell was not open, so Thomas will set it up. Boucher bounces to Kitchell. Here's the shot. It's good. Ted Kitchell with 14 points. Indiana has a 3-point lead, 26-23, a minute 30, 90 seconds left in this first half. Paxson, no good. Rebound to John Flowers. Kitchell. Thomas will not shoot. Kitchell from the line. No. Rebound to Mitchell. Here come the Irish. Notre Dame will slow it up. We have 1 minute. Paxson now setting it. The Irish trail 26-23. Sluby. Mitchell. Paxson. Sluby will fire from 18 feet. No good. John Flowers pulls it down. And I think we have a foul on Boucher. It appears to be a blocking or pushing foul underneath. Steve moving for a position.
Andre, 6'10", 230 pounds. He's a junior, and he takes up a lot of space inside. He got inside. There you saw Steve with the left arm trying to get some position.
Coming out is Boucher. Coming in, Chuck France, another junior from Clarksville, 6'2". Here is Andre at the line, shooting 1 and 1. And the first is no good. Flowers with a big board. Gets it to France. 37 seconds. Indiana still 3 points on top, 26-23, as France will set it.
With 29 seconds to go, look for Indiana to just take the final shot here with 3 or 4 seconds to go.
Whitman, France. France was a good shooter in high school. His role with Indiana is not a shooter, more of that of a point guard, although he doesn't have a lot of playing time. He's a playmaker. Here's Flowers. Now Whitman with 7 seconds. Whitman drives to the middle. He'll fire. No good. Rebound in the hands of Andre, and we've come to the end of the first period. Well, we've had a good game. Indiana trailing by as many as 6-8 at one time, coming back to take the lead. So that's the end of the first half with the score, the Hoosiers 26, the Irish 23. We'll be back to check the individual scoring in just a moment.
Whatever happened to the guy who stayed late to finish the job, even though it could wait until tomorrow? Who took the time to do the job right?
Good night, officer. Good night, Curtis.
No matter how long it took. And who sacrificed time with his family
Make some hot chocolate.
to help you with yours. Today, he works for Farm Bureau Insurance.
You all finished?
Applications will go out first thing tomorrow.
Saved us some dinner.
Yeah, what did you say for me?
Chuck Marlowe with John Laskowski. We're at halftime at Assembly Hall in Bloomington, just ticking away for the rest between periods. Indiana with a 26-23 lead. And very quickly, before we run down some of the unofficial scoring, John, your impressions of how this first half has transpired.
I think it was a game where both teams tried to take control. We said it'd be a little slow-paced. It was kind of a chess match, if you will, between the two fine coaches to see who could get control. It looked like Notre Dame had it, 20-12, an 8-point lead. Things were going their direction, and I think it was a good effort by Indiana to get the score where it is now.
What did Indiana do to regain the tempo?
I think we talked a little bit about in the Miami game where there was no one player to take control. We saw Kitchell make 3 quick shots, which helped, but then again, I think it was more of everybody's effort. Bougie hits a shot, Jimmy Thomas drives to that layup, Kitchell hit another baseline shot. So instead of it being one player, I think it's going to be spread out over this year's team. You're going to have a bunch of good plays by several players. I think that's going to be easier. Indiana outscored Notre Dame 14-3 in that stretch, and I guess I can't say it was one player in particular, but really a good team effort to get that job done.
Okay, a high point man for Indiana, Ted Kitchell, with 14, a high for both teams, leading scorer at this moment. For Notre Dame, Paxson with 8. He has 3 field goals, 2 from the line. Kitchell, 5 and 4. 4 from the free throw stripe, 5 field goals. Good support. Ube, Lop in there just for, I would say, maybe no more than 8 minutes of play in the first half. Picked up 3 personal fouls. He has 3. Boucher has 3. They're the only 2 for Indiana with any foul trouble, and Notre Dame has no one with more than 2. Jim Thomas has 2 points. John Flowers has 4. One a very clutch tip-in off a shot of Randy Whitman. And that's the extent of the scoring. Boucher, as I said, had 2. Randy Whitman has not scored. Now, this is one other thing, John, really that's important. Randy is going to have to get into the scoring more of this game.
Well, Notre Dame runs a very, as we said, diversified defense. They can do about anything they want to. They'll box in one. We haven't seen that yet. 2-3 zone, man-to-man. And I think it's got Indiana confused a little bit. I think Randy did a good job in the first half of getting other people open. We mentioned Paxson makes other players look good. I think Randy has that quality. He can get other people open. In the first half, he took that upon himself. But I think you're right, Chuck. Randy's going to have to score some points. He's one of our best shooters. The shots just haven't come at his position. Let's hope they do in the second half.
Tonight's game between Indiana and Notre Dame is being played at Assembly Hall in Bloomington. The score here at halftime, Indiana 26, Notre Dame 23. gave you Indiana's scoring just a moment ago. Let's give you Notre Dame's now. We said a high point man for the Irish was Paxson with 8. Cecil Rucker has 7. Barry Spencer has 2. Sluby 2. Bill Varner has 4. Tim Andre, coming off that ankle injury, has 3. Only fouls, multiple fouls. Varner has 2, and Tim Andre has 2. Spencer with 1, Rucker and Paxson also with 1. Well, we have a special halftime feature for you today. November 30th through December 4th is Financial Aid Awareness Week on the Indiana campus. Today's halftime feature takes a look at how students go about getting money to help pay for a college education.
When figuring cost for a college education, there are many things to consider. At Indiana University, the estimated cost for a year of school for Indiana residents is $4,300. This figure includes tuition and fees, room and board, books and supplies, transportation and personal expenses. Balancing your educational budget can become a difficult task, but at most colleges and universities, there's an office that can help.
Good afternoon. Scholarships and Financial Aids may help you.
Financial aid offices in colleges throughout the state have set aside a Financial Aid Awareness Week to call special attention to various financial aid opportunities. Students can pick up forms, learn what kinds of financial aid is available to them, and how they can apply.
Our official Financial Aid Awareness Week is November 30th through December 4th, and then we're extending it along with the State Awareness Week, December 7th through the 11th. And the forms will be available then. We'll have counseling staff out among the campus locations and off campus here at IU to get the students the information they need to file properly.
A student needs to fill out the financial aid form to see if they're eligible for several types of aid, including state and federal scholarships, work-study programs, and basic or supplementary grants. Students must also complete the Indiana University Financial Aid application for biographical purposes and additional eligibility information.
Well, I always encourage any student to apply for financial aid. There are so many factors involved in deciding how much the family is able to contribute. The size of the family, the age of the parent, number of family members going to college, income levels, asset levels, all these things come together. So when I get a family calling me and saying, I don't think we're going to be eligible, we make too much money, that just may not be so, because if we take all the other factors into consideration, they may show some financial need. And
students are urged to pick up forms during Financial Aid Awareness Week. Colleges and universities throughout Indiana can provide financial aid information to students during the month of December. Counselors help students understand and complete the forms while emphasizing the importance of meeting deadlines. Financial aid forms should be filed between January 1 and February 15th for the 1982-83 academic year. Early filing means financial aid announcements can be made in the spring. This gives students time to plan and discuss their finances with parents and counselors.
We are hoping that if the student files in January here at IU, that we will be able to send them an award letter in late March or early April. In the past, the student didn't hear until July or August, which gave them very little choice in whether or not they could change their mind about coming to school or make adjustments in their aid. We're hoping that with the computer system that we have and the remodeling and the redesigning of our office services, that we're able to help the student to have the time to make a decision about college more intelligently.
The goal of the Indiana University and statewide awareness campaign is to make sure that no student is denied a college education because they were unaware of financial aid available to them.
We are trying to do Financial Aid Awareness Week to get our information to the consumer, to the student. And the more information we give to them, the better they are able to get the aid that they're eligible for. We leave it up to the student to apply for financial aid. It is their responsibility to file the forms and file them properly. But we are here to help them get the information they need to file properly.
More information can be obtained from the Office of Scholarships and Financial Aid at Indiana University or by contacting the admissions office of a college or university near you.
now to hear from our local stations. This is the Farm Bureau Insurance Basketball Network. With John Laskowski as Indiana has returned to the court. They have the lead over the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, 26-23. We're still waiting for Digger Phelps to release his boys from the dressing room. Officials have returned to court. John, again, as we look at Indiana warming up now, some of the maybe unseen statistics of what has happened here in the first half. And I know one of the things that's very important is in the turnover department.
Indiana with just 3 turnovers. Notre Dame has 6. I think the biggest difference for Indiana from that Miami of Ohio game is they seem to be hustling for the ball a little more. The play hasn't been as sloppy, a little bit sharper. I'm sure those are the things that Coach worked in the 2 days of practice we've had since Miami, and I think it shows in the team. Now, one real outstanding performance, but I think a good team effort by everybody.
The scoring that we gave you earlier is correct, with one major correction that I will make. Rucker, instead of 7 points, give him only 4. Rucker has 4 instead of 7. I apparently was reading the wrong column at that time. Sluby has played the entire 20 minutes of the first half, as has Paxson. It's been an Ironman game for those two, but Flowers has 20 and Thomas has 20 for Indiana, John.
I think another key is Paxson. He's 3 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from the foul line with 8 points. I'd consider that a pretty good defensive job by Jimmy Thomas and the Hoosiers.
Now, stay tuned for second half action. We'll be ready for the tip-off in just a minute.
You'll never know how much I've missed you all. This is the greatest nation in the world. And I stand now before the greatest people in this nation. I've been gone so long, but I've never forgotten who I really am and the common bond between us. Not only as fellow Hoosiers, but as loyal, aspiring, dedicated Americans, sharing the joint cause of freedom and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been handed the final total. $2,017,513 worth of government war bonds have been sold in just one day, thanks to the help of this great lady, Indiana's own Miss Carol Lombard.
I knew you wouldn't let me down. I will be back. And when I return, it will be with words of victory and peace.
Carol Lombard's plane crashed on its flight from Indianapolis to Los Angeles. There were no survivors.
The Farm Bureau Insurance Basketball Network will have 3 games on most of these same stations. First, Purdue travels to the Rosemont Horizon to battle DePaul Saturday, December 5th at 8:30. Then on Monday, December 7th at 7:30, Purdue plays host to Butler. On Tuesday, December 8th at 8 p.m., the Hoosiers meet the Wildcats in Rupp Arena. Farm Bureau Insurance, proud to present Indiana and Purdue basketball for the 10th consecutive year.
Well, those are just 3 of the exciting contests you're going to see over the Farm Bureau Insurance Basketball Network in the next few weeks. John, before the tip-off, second half of the game, Indiana leading 26-23. Let's take a look at some of our statistics.
Kitchell, you see, with 14 points, Blob 4, Flowers 4, Boucher 2, and Thomas 2. Blob and Boucher each with 3 fouls. That could be important. 2 of Indiana's bigger men with 3 fouls each. It'll be interesting to see how quick they pick up their 4th. Notre Dame, on the other hand, Paxson with 8 points, Rucker 6, Varner 4, Andre 3, Sluby 2. Andre with 3 points, again a big man. So I think fouls may play a part here in the second half to see which team gets into foul trouble first. Indiana 11-24, 46%. Notre Dame 8 of 18, 44%. Indiana 4 of 4 from the foul line. Notre Dame's made a big move there, 7 of 11. They've gotten more foul shots. Rebounds about even. Turnovers, a good job for Indiana. Just 3, as we mentioned, 6 for Notre Dame. Not many turnovers at all for a first half of basketball.
Coach Bob Knight and Coach Digger Phelps each can almost be quoted verbatim as saying the first 5 minutes of the second half, the first 5 minutes of either half for that matter, the most important 10 minutes of play in a basketball game. And now we start the second half of play, so let's see how it works. Notre Dame gets the ball out of bounds. Paxson with the control from the top. To Andre. Now Sluby drives on Whitman, comes inside and shoots. No good. Whitman gets the rebound. And Jim Thomas to Chuck Franz. It's Thomas and Franz, Whitman, Kitchell, and Flowers for Indiana. Paxson, Sluby, Andre. As Andre reaches over, he commits his foul, a 3rd, over the shoulder.
Flowers does a good job of getting his position. He's right there on the block, protects the ball with his body. Andre has to come across with his left hand and he commits the foul. That's good offensive position.
The other 2 for Notre Dame are Mitchell and Varner. Here is Kitchell underneath. Sluby, no foul. Last touch, they say, by Jimmy Thomas, and Bobby Knight is up on his feet. We'll look again.
Double team that leaves Flowers open. No call.
This is Paxson. Sluby. Back to Paxson. Varner in the corner. Now Mitchell.
Paxson really looking to do something. That time Randy Whitman shut him off and he had to pass out.
Sluby with Paxson all alone. He fires and hits. Paxson has 10. The Irish have 25 and trail by 1. 26-25 the score. Indiana with the lead as Farm Bureau Insurance and the nearly 700 agents in Indiana are bringing you tonight's contest. Randy Whitman drives, gets his angle, and scores.
Randy has the 2-inch height advantage over Mike Mitchell, who is 6'2". Randy used it that time, taking 1 dribble to his right for the shot.
That was a good shot. Speaks for itself. Thomas guarding Paxson. Now a switch. Here's Whitman on Paxson. He'll fire. And a foul is called on Randy Whitman as Paxson goes to the basket. Whitman's first. Team foul number 1 against Indiana in the second half. Fouls are even.
Here's Randy. Paxson getting the baseline position. He goes up with the shot. Call for the foul.
.25 score. Here's Paxson at the line, shooting 2. John has 10. As you can see, adds 1.
Notre Dame in the second half so far has gone to Paxson. One of Digger Phelps' comments at halftime to his team was probably, we got to get Paxson the ball more and get him working for us.
Paxson hits both free throws. He has 12. Notre Dame with 27 and still trailing by 1. Chuck Franz to the top of the key and now to the left side as Indiana will set its offense. Indiana again being very patient, looking underneath. Here's Kitchell with a turnaround. And he was right on target.
Ted likes that baseline shot against the one. It looks like a 2-3 zone. He works the baseline trying to get open. He's been able to get inside to about 10 feet. As soon as he gets it, he takes that turnaround jump shot.
Mitchell and Franz. Now Varner brings it out on top. Here's Andre. Notre Dame again trying to clear it out underneath. Garner. All 5 Notre Dame players above the foul line extended.
We saw this offense a little in the first half. Paxson's on the free throw line, the other 4 players on the perimeter.
Here's Andre. He drives and scores. Tim Andre with his second basket of the night. He has 5 points, and it's a 30-29 contest. Andre seems to be moving very well on that ankle. I know torn ligaments down there. Here's Boucher from the corner, no good. Jimmy Thomas goes right back up and puts it in. Thomas picked the open lane. He saw the spot just came in and covered on the long side of the basket. Got the deep, deep rebound and dropped it through. Andre, Garner. Shot by Paxson, no good. Mitchell has it knocked out of his hands by Andre, but recovers, and here come the Hoosiers with a 3-point lead and a chance to extend.
Indiana trying to set up. France directing the offense.
There's France underneath to Whitman. Oh, look at that move.
As Randy turned around, he saw Andre at 6'10" right in the face. He took one quick dribble to get around him and laid it up. Good offensive move.
Digger Phelps up, directing his offense. Here's Paxson. Credit 2 good passes on the play. One from France. Another one from Thomas to France to set it up. Paxson right into the middle. Andre off his leg, misses the shot. Here's Thomas with a good block. The back official makes the call. We'll look again.
Here's Paxson driving in. Here's how he can hurt you. He dishes off to Andre. 3 Indiana players on the floor. Andre all alone. Here comes Jimmy Thomas from behind. Good angle that time. Foul called on Jimmy.
The crowd voices its disapproval. And it is a capacity crowd, 17,202. Certainly not equal Irish and Hoosier boosters, but there are a lot of Irish fans here as well. Here's Andre. First is no good. (34-29), Indiana with the lead. Second shot is no good. Flowers pulls it down and gives to France. Here comes Indiana with the lead. 15.5 minutes left to play in this game. Now France directing the attack on top. Whitman. France again. Now Thomas. Whitman calls for the ball. He drives, shoots and scores. Randy Whitman wanted the ball. That reminded me a lot. We have a timeout. No, we have a foul. Ted Kitchell. A pushing foul on Kitchell as we look again.
Here you're in the basket. There's Kitchell, number 30. Let's see what happens. Whitman's driving to the hoop. He makes the shot. Ted runs back down the floor. I guess it was right there. He's back to us, pushing off.
We have a timeout. 15 minutes left to play. You're watching Indiana basketball on the Farm Bureau Insurance Basketball Network. Indiana leads Notre Dame 36-29. (36-29). Let's take a look at that foul again, John.
There's Kitchell. There's Mitchell. He's the one that was fouled. Let's watch Ted just for pushing off there. There you see it a little bit. He shoved off, committed the foul. We talked about Randy Whitman trying to score some more, Chuck. Randy's 3 for 3 in this half with 6 points already. Indiana 5 of 7 from the field, 71% to increase their lead.
All right, here's Mitchell driving. He goes past Kitchell, feeds underneath. There's Rucker, blocked away by Flowers. Great effort, gets the rebound. John Flowers went 1.5 miles in the air to block that shot. Franz, Thomas. Now Chuck Franz, about 10, 12 feet off the top of the key. Here's Whitman, fakes, doesn't take the shot.
Notre Dame man-to-man defense now.
Jimmy Thomas has not shot, except for the layup underneath the basket he had off the long rebound just a few minutes ago. Feet underneath, out of bounds, whistle, no, foul. It'll be on Mitchell. Mike Mitchell's first personal. Team foul number 2. Let's look at that block by John Flowers again, John.
Mitchell with the pass. He hits Rucker. Watch Flowers come all the way from the weak side. Times his jump good. And again, didn't knock the ball out of bounds, but kept it in play. Good smart play.
Indiana inbounds. Chuck Franz, Clarksville, Providence. Correction, Clarksville. I don't think Providence High School. Or Clarksville fans would appreciate that. Fine young man getting a lot of playing time experience in this contest. Indiana, Notre Dame. 36-29, the Hoosiers. The whistle, get a foul underneath. It'll be against 43, Cecil Rucker. He and Flowers are going shoulder to shoulder underneath there. Rucker, for him, his second personal. And the team fouls are even, 3 each.
Indiana likes to run that man-to-man offense when they can. The reason is it forms a lot of picks inside. The big players will go inside, pick for each other. It causes Notre Dame some problems inside. They're trying to get through picks, switch on picks. That time they got called for pushing off.
Barry Spencer replaces Sluby for Notre Dame as Indiana comes in deep. Thomas and Franz with the ball. Now Thomas back on top. Indiana with a lot of motion. Whitman shut down as he was trying to go through the middle. Here's Kitchell, good move. Lays it up, misses the shot. The rebound to Notre Dame. Varner pulls it down. Good shot, good position, just wouldn't drop. Paxson. 13 minutes, 13 and a half minutes roughly as the clock ticks down now. 36-29. Indiana, ball out of bounds, they say, off John Flowers' knee. Notre Dame will control. Then we'll have another substitution for the Irish in just a moment. Peeling off his jersey and coming in, number 24, Ron Rowan. He's 6'5", a freshman, 185 pounds from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. Rowan replaces Mitchell.
Notre Dame may want to get a little more size in the lineup. Put Rowan on Randy Whitman to keep him from going inside.
Now Franz is guarding. Here's the steal, a block shot underneath again, and pulling up, taking the shot. Jim Thomas, no good. Out comes Rowan for the Irish. Chuck Franz. 6'5" against 6'2". Franz 6'2". Paxson reverses, shoots. No good. Varner underneath, lays it back up. Good underneath the board position by Bill Varner for his 6th point. And it's 36-31. A 5-point Hoosier lead with 12 and a half minutes left to play. Whitman outside. Yes, sir. There's Randy. Commented once before, started to. During that timeout, John, his clapping of the hands in the corner reminds me very much of that last basket he made against North Carolina at the NCAA last year when he sensed and felt that the need for the ball, he had the shot. He called for it and got it. Rowan. Varner. Shot is no good. Loose underneath. Spencer turns around off the glass and drops through.
Notre Dame with 2 straight offensive rebounds now. Got 2 easy baskets.
38-33, Spencer's first field goal. And he has 4 points. Here's Whitman again. Oh, yes. Now Randy has 10. So But the Hoosiers have 2 in double figures. Kitchell with 16, Whitman with 10, and Notre Dame wants a timeout. With 11:35 left to play, you're watching Indiana basketball on the Farm Bureau Insurance Basketball Network. Indiana leads Notre Dame 40-33.
Whatever happened to the guy who took pride in his work?
Morning. Fill her up? You bet.
Who wasn't too big to remember the little things?
Check the oil and water? Sure.
Who did things because he wanted to, not because he had to. Today,
Mr. Riley, you'll be back on the road sooner than you thought. That's great.
He works for Farm Bureau Insurance.
Second half, you see the score. Uwe Blapp, number 33, back in for the Hoosiers. John, some stats.
Indiana 7-11 from the field. That's 63%. Notre Dame's 4-12-33. Randy Whitman 5 of 5, 10 points.
Well, Whitman has decidedly been the difference here in the second half of the game. Calling for the ball, getting the shot, and his willingness to move for possession. We have a foul underneath. It's going to be on 33, Sluby. I believe they probably would call that a moving pick if we use that language again. It's just a block, an illegal block foul underneath.
Looks like he was backing in on Kitchell, trying to get position.
That brings Digger up. There's a good shot. I tell you, Richard Phelps, what a record he has. 11 years of Notre Dame, 206 and 84. That's 59%. He's 64% on his career. Add one more game to that, it'd be 207 and 84 and 233-87. Just a tremendous man. Looks down at Coach Bobby Knight and sort of shakes his head a little bit. And Ted Kitchell at the line will be shooting 1 and 1. Let's check that. 2 shots. Apparently, a flagrant foul, John. How else do you call it? Neither team in the bonus.
Right, Notre Dame with 4 fouls now, so it's not a 1-and-1. They gave him 2 shots. I'm not sure.
Well, Kitchell has 18 on the 2 free throws, and we will not comment on why the shot. No explanation was given. Here's Sluby. Over Kitchell. Feed to Rowan. Rowan loses off his hands out of bounds. A good thought, a good play.
Well, that's 11 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the half now. That's the first turnover we've had. Neither team had one till then. Bad pass by Notre Dame.
42-33. Indiana with the 9-point lead. And the ball. It goes to Whitman. Block cutting through the middle. Whitman puts it back on top again.
Uwe, when he cuts across the middle, really makes a big target.
Ted Kitchell set the pick. And the charge by number 24, that's Rowan. He will pick up his first personal foul. Indiana, again now, John, and you have done this so much, but I feel from a broadcaster stand, they're beginning to play position basketball. They're moving the ball where they want it. They're moving their picks into position, setting up for the charges and for the calls.
When you do that, you're going to get a few breaks. Kitchell that time set a back pick. Notre Dame didn't call it out. Rowan didn't know the pick was there and simply ran over Ted.
Jim Thomas. It is to Block. He turns around, fires it up. No good. Followed by Thomas is no good. And the rebound to Notre Dame. Here's Paxson. Sluby to Spencer. He'll fall away and fire. Misses. Rebound. Randy Whitman. And Thomas. The Hoosiers back quickly. Now let's see if they go back into their patient offense. Both teams have been very patient tonight. They're well coached. Indiana with a 42-33 lead. Turnaround by Block is no good. Rebound to John Flowers. Flowers worked, fought his way for position, came up with the ball and the score.
Uwe with a good move that time. Again, Flowers is hitting that offensive board. He can really be a good rebounder.
Paxson, as Notre Dame trails by 11, will fire from outside. Shot is good. Paxson with 14. His second field goal of the first half. And we have a loose ball, and apparently now a substitution. Rucker in for Barry Spencer. Notre Dame will press. They will test just how good Indiana is in getting the ball up against the press. It'll be Flowers to throw it in. And he gives to Thomas. Thomas brings it right through the traffic, circles out. Now, Randy Whitman. A little breakdown on that, possibly. Thomas was supposed to have done what he did, but nobody came back to cover. Here's a shot by Block. Block with 6 points.
Kitchell that time on the pass. Ube's been getting the ball in the position he wants it, but he hasn't been able to hit that shot. That time he turned to his right shoulder, put it in the hole.
Sluby to Paxson. Here's Barner from outside. Yes, sir. Barner with 8. And both teams beginning to loosen up at the baskets now. It's 46-37 again. Notre Dame with the press. Now Indiana begins to send a companion up with him this time. It's to Kitchell. Kitchell goes against Andre. Yes, sir. Good.
Very good press offense that time.
And Paxson comes right back and counters it. That will not make Coach Knight very happy.
You work hard on one end of the floor, good offense against that zone, and then Paxson, with his quickness, goes right through Indiana's defense.
No help. Here's the feed. Nobody touches it. Out of bounds, Indiana. Both teams now beginning to loosen up and also play just a little bit more loosely. Ted Kitchell on the far side of the court talking to John Flowers just a bit. There's Digger Phelps. As you look at both coaches, Bobby Knight down screen a bit. Chuck Franz will be coming back in the next opportunity. Moment.
I think this is exactly what Digger Phelps wanted. He wanted to actually get a little quicker pace now, force turnovers because his team is down 9 points.
Thomas to Kitchell. Blocked away. Foul. 43, Cecil Rucker picks up his third. A good block, but he got a little bit of arm, too, as we look again.
Good control by Thomas. He breaks the Notre Dame defense. Fakes the shot, passes to Kitchell. Rucker goes over to help. Commits a foul.
Ube Blop will sit down as Chuck Franz comes back in. And now Franz, Randy Whitman, and Bob Knight talking in front of the IU bench. At the line will be Ted Kitchell. He is 6 for 6 from the line tonight. Has a long way to go to equal the 18 for 18 of last year, setting the NCAA record, but he makes it 7 for 7, 21 points.
Indiana trying to get a few quicker players in there. Uwe will be on the bench with Notre Dame full court pressing. The main thing is control of the ball. Indiana wants to get the ball across the 10-second line. They put Chuck Franz in to help Jimmy Thomas.
8 minutes, 10 seconds left to play. Indiana with an 11-point lead, 50-39. This is Duff, number 22. Dan Duff, 6 feet, 187 from Lincoln, Illinois. As Indiana comes up with a loose ball, again, John Flowers right there to pull it away. And Indiana wants a timeout. And I don't think Chuck Franz can hear it. Franz will drive, shoot. Now we have a timeout. Apparently Randy Whitman moved back and caught the coach's eye, called the time. With 7:42 left to play, you're watching Indiana basketball on the Farm Bureau Insurance Basketball Network. Indiana leads Notre Dame 50-39.
Hi, I'm Dan Baystor. This lake is a real beauty, but it wasn't here a few years ago. It used to be an Amex coal surface mine. Here in the Midwest, the Amex Coal Company works real hard at putting the land back to work again after it's given us coal for America's energy needs. Right, Mother Nature?
Amex Land Reclamation. That's no fish story. Oops.
Amex Coal Company. We're resourceful with the land.
Attention, calling all cars. Subject, your Ford dealer's parts and service. The parts. Your Ford dealer uses genuine Motorcraft and Ford brand parts. The service, done by Ford trained mechanics who know how to do the job right. Special offer. Yes, your participating Ford dealer is offering a Motorcraft oil and filter change, complete with labor at a price that's very competitive. Conclusion, for competitive prices and convenient one-stop service, see your Ford dealer.
Chuck Marlowe with John Laskowski back at Assembly Hall. Indiana leading by 11, and statistically, too, the Hoosiers really, at this stage, in control, John.
10 of 17 from the field, that's 58%. Notre Dame is 7 of 16, 43%. Turnovers, Notre Dame has 4, Indiana still with 1. That's the difference.
Here's Randy Whitman, fires and scores. Whitman right away breaks off the inbounds pass for his 12th point. 52-39. Paxson. Thomas guarding him, gives him the outside shot. He'll take it and he'll score. 18, that equals his high against Indiana last year at South Bend. Up court it comes to Kitchell. Indiana breaks the press effectively. Here's Thomas firing and connected. And that, again, John, as so many times I've heard Coach Knight speak, and you as well, is the best way to effectively go against the press, come up court quickly, score quickly.
Last year, that would have been Isaiah Thomas driving the ball down the middle. This year, Jimmy Thomas.
Paxson. Here is John Flowers high for the board to Franz. And now Franz trapped in backcourt, tries to work his way out. Feeds up court. Flowers, up he goes and scores. Great look by Chuck Franz. Great look.
Franz was trapped that time. Franz was trapped by Notre Dame. 3 players on him. He knew somebody had to be open. It was Flowers. A half-court pass. Flowers bobbles the ball, still goes up with it. Gets fouled, a chance for a 3-point play.
That is Varner's 3rd personal foul, the 7th team foul. Indiana leading by 15. Flowers with 8 points. John had 4 against Miami of Ohio last Saturday. Substitution as Spencer comes back in, replacing Bill Varner. Flowers, the shot is good. Now the Irish down by 16 as Duff brings it across the 10-second line to Spencer. To Rucker. Sluby back in the lineup. Sluby will fire from outside. Shot is no good as Notre Dame begins to force from outside. And Indiana with the board position as Thomas and Chuck Franz whistle and foul on Franz. And that brings Knight up, stomps his foot, and not about a bad call. Chuck Franz wasn't looking. He just ran right into it.
Notre Dame's going to try to get turnovers wherever they can. They're going to try to step in front of the Indiana players to draw that charge. That time they did. Chuck Franz ran down the Notre Dame player. Coach Knight got up because he wants the players to be aware that Notre Dame's going to do this. You got to be careful when you've got a lead.
57-41 Indiana. Here's Paxson again outside. He scored. I don't think John Paxson has a position on the court inside 16 feet. John Laskowski, that he cannot effectively hit.
Well, they're really going to go to him now. Jimmy Thomas is looking for picks, but Paxson's doing it on his own. He hasn't used the picks. He's got to stay with him and get help when Notre Dame does set a pick.
Franz to Kitchell. Kitchell has 22 points. 8 of those in the second half. Thomas. Screen set by Flowers for Whitman. Pass just a bit late and defense recovers.
So we talk about controlling a game. This is what we're seeing now. Notre Dame has to go to a man-to-man to keep Indiana from holding the ball.
We have a foul underneath. Blocking foul against Notre Dame as Whitman makes the drive from the left side. It'll be against Cecil Rucker, his 4th. Rucker from Washington, D.C., played at Macklin High, 6'8", 190. He's a second-year man. Randy Whitman with 12 points all in the second half and will be shooting 2. Whitman out of Ben Davis. Jerry Hoover is coach up there, and the first is good. Randy was 77% from the line on the season last year. He was 2 of 2 coming into tonight's game following the Miami encounter last weekend as Varner checks back in, replacing Rucker for Notre Dame. Second, also good, Whitman with 14. The Hoosiers with a 16-point lead, 5 minutes, 28 seconds left to play. 59-43 is the score as Farm Bureau Insurance and their agents throughout the state of Indiana very pleased to bring you tonight's game. Tipped away right into the hands of Notre Dame. Again off the leg, scramble for the ball out of bounds. It'll be Indiana ball.
That's the hustle Coach Knight likes to see. Saturday against Miami, Ohio, he felt the team didn't go for the loose balls. And today, there you see a good example. It comes up Indiana's ball.
It comes in all the way back in backcourt to Chuck France. Now Whitman. There's Flowers. And Whitman again. Whitman working side to side through the baseline area. Coming to the ball. Underneath, bad pass by Kitchell, just a little bit past Thomas. A turnover for the Hoosiers. I believe that up until the time we quit counting just a few minutes ago, that was only their second turnover, John.
They've held the ball well. Coach Knight a little upset that time. That's the idea, to get the ball going toward the basket. The pass just missed.
Paxson, double team. Now Spencer who will fire. Whistle, shot is no good, but we have a foul. It's on Kitchell. Ted's third. There's a good look at Ted from Galveston, Indiana. Lewis Cass.
The coach was probably talking to him about that pass to Jimmy Thomas. It's the right idea, but you got to execute. Got to get the ball into him. We saw that time also down the floor. Jim Paxson's going to bring the ball down. He's going to either go right or left to try to get that shot. He's hot in the second half, and Digger Phelps feels that's the best way to score. He was stopped last time by Chuck Franz coming over to help Jimmy Thomas. Indiana's got to help on Paxson.
Spencer's first of two is no good. Barry Spencer out of Detroit. A 40% field goal shooter. And now hits his second. He is 3 for 4, 75% on the season. Thomas, double team to Whitman. Now Whitman will work it across. 59-44, 4.5 minutes left to play. In a very traditional hot rivalry between Indiana and Notre Dame. Foul, Paxson. Paxson sort of bellied up a little bit too close to Chuck Franz that time. The officials calling very close.
There you saw Kitchell get the ball on the baseline. Instead of looking inside the Flowers, he passed it back out to Franz. Indiana wants to control the ball to force Notre Dame to make a mistake. That time Paxson had to stop the clock by fouling Chuck Franz.
Franz will be shooting 1-1. And the first is right there. Chuck was only 14 of 16 last year from the line. Limited amount of playing time, but an 88% free throw shooter. Second is also good, so he bats 1,000 for 1981-82. 61-44, Indiana back to a 17-point advantage with 4 minutes, 8 seconds left to play. Oh. John Paxson with 22 points. Paxson just has a touch almost any place on that floor. Very gifted offensive ball player and good ball control player as well. Under to John Flowers, up off the glass and good. Good feed by Jim Thomas. Flowers with a little turnaround right-handed soft shot off the glass. Varner, yes sir. Bill Varner with his 10th point. And it's 63-48 Indiana. Now to Thomas. Rowan on him. And Whitman. Rowan will be chasing the ball now. Varner. As Rowan picks up Franz on the far side. Paxson tries to reach through to take the ball. Does tip it throw. We have a foul. It'll be on Paxson. His third. You see some of the jubilant Indiana fans here barking out some cheers. The cheerleader. Fans behind them. 63-48. As Jim Thomas will move to the line, shooting 1-1. First drops through. Thomas 4 for 4 last Saturday, 77% last season. And his second is there. We have a timeout. You're watching Indiana basketball on the Farm Bureau Insurance Basketball Network. Indiana leads the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame 65-48. At Notre Dame, Digger Phelps, 11 years with the Fighting Irish, and the Irish are down 65-48. John?
Indiana's 11 of 11 with free throws in the second half. Notre Dame just 3 of 6. That's an 8-point difference. Indiana also with 11 rebounds.
Paxson again, that turnaround jump, 24 points for John Paxson. Comes to Franz, and Franz right back to Whitney. They had Flowers alone in the corner. All he had to do was go over Spencer, but that's a chancy opportunity when you want to control the ball.
At this point, you're right, Chuck. You want to use the clock as much as you can, run off 30 or 40 seconds, and then try to get that same shot.
Whistle and a foul. It's on 24, Rowan. Ron Rowan, his second personal. Moving to the stripe to shoot 2, potentially on a 1-and-1, Randy Whitman. First is good. We had mentioned earlier in the broadcast that Notre Dame does not have an easy schedule in addition to many other games accompanying this. They play UCLA twice, Kentucky, Missouri, San Francisco's Dons twice. Second shot by Whitman is no good. Maryland, Marquette, North Carolina State, DePaul, of course, and Michigan. Their only other encounter with a Big Ten team this year other than Indiana. Under it comes to Sloby, a whistle and a foul. Kitchell, as he attempted to move in and protect the lane, is picking up his 4th personal. 66-50 with 2:21 left to play.
Brings Coach Knight off the bench. Kitchell drew that foul because he was out of position. When you're on weak side help, the ball comes down. You've got to get closer to that foul line on the other side. Ted was about a step behind. Notre Dame was able to get the ball inside.
Sloby's first. Rolls around and pops out. He'll have a second. Sloby has only 2 points, scored 6 against Indiana last year at South Bend. Second is good, so he has 3. And at 66-51 is again the Irish put on the pressure. Sloby trying to take the ball away to Kitchell. And Kitchell works it across the line. Now the Friends. To Thomas, all the way back out to Whitman, then France. We got almost with their version of a 4-corner. Good position that time by Whitman here all alone. Faking the shot, going up, he traveled. Jim Thomas, good move. As he moved around Spencer, got to the basket side, but he moved his feet. And now here's Mitchell. Mitchell replaces Rowan for the Irish. So it'll be Mitchell and Paxson in the backcourt.
Good pressure that time by Notre Dame. Indiana wasn't really looking to score until Jimmy Thomas went to the basket. If Notre Dame comes out that high, they're going to have to take that layup.
Shot by Mitchell is good. Mike Mitchell with his first basket. We have a timeout. Timeout called by Notre Dame. Now let's check to see. Let's hold it here just for a minute because we want it. All right.
Notre Dame's going to call timeout, not to take the time to talk to the team, but just to stop the clock. That way neither team can regroup. Notre Dame's charged with a timeout. It stops the clock after a basket's made.
All right, John, thank you for the explanation because both benches were up thinking timeout. The inbounds pass to Whitman again, the press by the Irish. 66-53. And Thomas gets it across to Whitman. With a minute 28 seconds left. Chuck France guarded by Mitchell, and there's the foul. Mitchell grabbing. 1-1. Many of the fans felt it might have been an intentional two-shot foul. Mitchell says no. Mike Mitchell's second. And Franz, perfect from the stripe the last time, will move back for the first of his bonus. Misses. With a minute 20 seconds left to play. Here's Paxson. Mitchell in the corner. Bounces. Inside it goes to Scobie. Blocked away by John Flowers, and a foul. It's on Paxson as he attempted to go for the loose ball. Thomas beating to it. Paxson has picked up his fourth personal. A great defensive effort by John Flowers. And we've seen a lot of him defensively tonight in many instances, John Laskowski.
He has played well. He's got great physical attributes, as we talked about before. He's a great rebounder and shot blocker. Here comes the shot. He gets good position. Again, doesn't knock the ball out of bounds. Keeps it in play, and Indiana comes up with it.
Tony Brown checks in for Indiana. Chuck Franz will take a rest. As Jim Thomas moves to the stripe for 1-1. No good. Indiana missing its last two of one in bonuses. With a minute 7 left to play. 66-53. Paxson to the line. He fires. No good. Rebound to Ted Kitchell. Thomas. And it goes to Whitman. Indiana effectively breaking against this press all but one time. Whitman, 38 seconds left to play. 66-53, the Hoosiers going to win this one. There's a foul. Mitchell reaching around Tony Brown. Wilson and Tony the line for 1-1. Mitchell has picked up his third personal. There's Jimmy Thomas. Well, a fine game out of Thomas as he sits down with 8 points, only 2 personal fouls, but some good leadership at times out there on the court when it was needed, John.
Paxson really played well in the second half. He's got 24 points for the game, which means he's got 16 in the second half. If Ben turned around, he scored 16 in the first half, we may have seen a different outcome in this game.
Steve Bushy for Ted Kitchell. Kitchell with 22 points. And a much better game all around, offensively and defensively out of Ted tonight. Here's Tony Brown, 1-1. And he misses, so 3 straight for Indiana at the stripe. And here's Paxson with 30 seconds left to play. Spencer will fire and score. Barry Spencer. And now Notre Dame calls timeout, but he sends him once again back to that line. He wants to stop the clock. Barry Spencer with his 5th point. Indiana will have the inbounds against the stop clock on the timeout. Whistle. We have a foul. It'll be against number 23. That's John Paxson's 5th personal foul. He has fouled out with 23 seconds left to play and 24 points. Paxson from Kettering, Ohio, Archbishop Alder High School. 18 against Indiana last year, and he betters that by 6 this year. He had 22 points in their home opener against St. Joseph's last Saturday. This is Duff, Dan Duff, a freshman from Lincoln, Illinois, replacing Saxon. 23 seconds. Tony Brown to shoot, and now Winston Morgan comes in, and John Flowers is very happy about his performance, and so are the 17,202 fans on hand tonight. Morgan leads the game, or Flowers leads the game with 11 points, but a well-balanced game offensively and defensively.
It's got to really help his confidence. As we talked about the 5 freshmen, the biggest thing they need to work on now is confidence. To know in their own mind that they can play in the Big Ten. I think John Flowers took a big step that way today.
Tony Brown missing the first one, but hitting the second. Here's Duff firing, no good. Brown goes after the ball. So does Dan Dockich. We have a jump ball. Randy Whitman leading his own cheering section out there. Let's check to see. It'll be Indiana ball. Again on the alternating exchanges of balls on possession following tips. Whistle and a foul. And that's a dead ball foul. No time ticking off the clock. It'll be against Randy Whitman for 22.
There you get a look at Randy. Duff had position that time. Indiana was breaking out of their press offense. Randy went to set a pick on Duff, and Duff didn't move, just stayed still. Randy ran him over, called for the foul.
14 seconds left to play. First rolls around, no good. Brown tries to come out with the ball. Here's Dockich trapped underneath the basket, feeds it over. Boucher has it at 7. A whistle, a foul against Spencer. Let's make that Mitchell. Mike Mitchell with his 4th. Mitchell, Cappuccino, California High School. And Franz is back in again. Chuck will replace Randy Whitman. Randy, an excellent second half. 15 points. And 6 field goals, 3 free throws. Boucher's first is good. The second is also good. So Steve Boucher has 4. 5 as the clock continues to tick down. Shot outside, no good by Bunner, and that's the end of the ball game. We have no time left on the clock. Final score, Indiana 69-55 over the Fighting Irish. We'll be back to review tonight's game in just a minute.
Whatever happened to the guy who went out of his way so you wouldn't have to? And who carried the idea of service all the way to your front door? Today, he works for Farm Bureau Insurance.
Your policy came in today, so I thought I'd drop it by.
Right, you didn't have to do that.
Indianapolis fans will be at the Martin House on West 86th Street, beginning at 7 p.m. In fourth place, the Iron
69-55 final score. The Hoosiers coming out with that big 14-point win. And John, it's a much different game than what we saw last Saturday against Miami. A lot different in intensity, and it appeared to be maybe a little bit more concentration on the part of the Hoosiers.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why coaches get gray hair. It's the same players. It's 3 days later, but yet the play is so much different. I think the biggest thing that the coaches got out of the Miami game was different things to work on. More aggressiveness on defense, getting those loose balls, and better team play all around. I think we saw that today. Notre Dame took control, 20-12. Indiana came back with that spurt, 14-3, to take control of the game. In the second half, they didn't stop, and I think that was a big difference. In the 3 days, somehow the coaches instilled in the players, play a little slower, take control of yourselves, and it worked here tonight.
We talk again about the importance of the 5 minutes in each half. I think it really proved tonight, the 5 minutes in the second half, as Indiana was able to extend on that 3-point lead.
Right, Indiana had the momentum going in the locker room, and that's a long 15-minute period. A team can lose it. Indiana didn't. They came out again. We talked about the team play. I think this is going to be a team effort on this year's team. We've got young players, and you're not going to be able to point out one guy who leads them. It's going to have to be everybody. Jim Thomas did a good job on Paxson. Randy Whitman, as you mentioned, had to do some scoring in the second half, and he did. He scored 15 points to counteract Paxson's 16. So overall, I think Kitchell did a good job. And what about John Flowers? I think he was probably the biggest change in the Indiana play.
And I want to come back and talk just a little bit about the defense and the board position checking out on the board, because that fundamental was very aware here tonight, too. We'll return to talk more on our post-game show after we pause for this. Marlowe back with John Laskowski. John, let's go back to that rebounding again and checking out under the boards.
I think that's another big difference. John Flowers, I think you're going to see more him inside, getting the rebounds. He blocked a couple shots today, kept the ball inbounds. But in the Miami game, Indiana would go for that rebound, and they wouldn't come up with it. The ball would be loose on the floor. Miami got it. Today, Indiana avoided those loose balls on the floor by just grabbing the rebound the first time it came up. Flowers, Whitman, and Kitchell grabbed onto the ball, didn't let it go, and that made a big difference.
Okay, final score 69-55, and we'll be back with a final word after we pause for this. John Paxson led both teams in scoring tonight with 24 points. Ted Kitchell for Indiana had 22, scoring evenly balanced the rest away, with Randy Whitman getting into double figures. It was an exciting game all the way, and we hope that you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Final score 69-55, with Indiana winning its second game of the season. The executive producer for Indiana basketball, Michael Davis. Tonight's game produced by Bob Caldwell and directed by Jerry Wheatley. Our network director was Pete Mago. Audio, Bob DeLong. On video, Jim Miller, Mike Mettert, and Al Engel. On cameras, Mike Vance, John Schaefer, Colin Carter, and Nelson Hastings. Our floor director, Linda Sirota. Video replays by Dick Blair and graphics by Fred Lawrence. Any reproduction of this telecast is strictly forbidden without the express written permission of Farm Bureau Insurance and Indiana University, which also has approval of the announcers used in this telecast. Now this is Chuck Marlowe for John Laskowski, speaking to you from Assembly Hall in Bloomington, inviting you to join us next Tuesday, December 8th at 8 o'clock, when Indiana meets the University of Kentucky at Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. So long, everybody.
You've been watching Indiana University basketball. brought to you for the 10th consecutive year by Farm Bureau Insurance and the nearly 700 agents throughout the state of Indiana. This telecast was produced through the facilities of WTTV in Indianapolis. This is the Farm Bureau Insurance Basketball Network.
What is the score? Well, I'll get that during that break that we're going to have. One score we have to give you just off the wire. This is a hot one. Frostburg's Vincent College 66. I have no idea where Frostburg. Good evening and welcome to the scoreboard. Before we recap what has transpired in Assembly Hall this evening, let us remind you we have more basketball coming your way here on Channel 4 this week. Tomorrow night, the high school game of the week. We take you to Perry Meridian where the Falcons play host to the Giants of Ben Davis. Tip-off at 8 o'clock. Jerry Baker will have all the action from Perry Meridian. Later this week on Saturday, the Farm Bureau Insurance Basketball Network will take you to the Rosemont Horizon where number 9 DePaul plays host to Purdue. Tip-off 8:30 Saturday evening. Joe Pate and Bob Ford with the play-by-play. Well, down at IU Assembly Hall, Bobby Knight surprising all of us by starting 4 freshmen and 1 sophomore. Indiana starting sluggish. They fell behind by 8, 20-12, and then behind the outside sniping of Ted Kitchell and tenacious defense, they ripped off 14 points against only 3 for Notre Dame, going to the half, leading 26-23. They built up on that lead all the way to a 17-point margin in the second half. In fact, the only thing that kept the Irish close was the outside shooting of John Paxson. He ended up with the game-high 24 points. For Indiana, it was Ted Kitchell with 22, Randy Whitman with 15. IU now undefeated in 2 tries, Notre Dame 1-1. Elsewhere in Indiana College basketball this evening, it was Anderson 64, Taylor 61. The Metros of IUPUI defeating Franklin 85-83. 3 other ranked teams are playing this evening. One contest of note, number 9 DePaul playing Illinois Chicago Circle. For the first time in major college basketball, a son is opposing his father. Now, as you know, Ray Meyer is the coach of DePaul. His son Tom is the coach of Illinois Circle. Elsewhere in ranked teams tonight, number 13 Georgia is at Florida State. Alcorn State at number 15, Missouri. Now, we have to give you this score, hot off the wire. It was Frostburg State, 75, St. Vincent College, 66. If you know where those are located, don't bother to call because we'll find out later. We have one major high school upset to pass along when the scoreboard continues after this timeout. I'll do another